Hey everyone, it's Kristen. I'm gonna try to make this quick because I think I need a new ring light slash phone holder for these videos because the light keeps turning off, the ring light, and even though I have, of course, the overhead light on, when the ring light turns off, you can't you can't really see me. So yeah, I think I need a new one. So we're gonna try to make this quick-ish. So, this is for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because of course it was a holiday weekend, Good Friday and then Easter. So I was busy, doing like family stuff, and so therefore I didn't get to these videos. So on Thursday, Loki, which just the day before, Wednesday, we got Thor's stat card. So I compared in that video, in the Marvel calendar stamp series video before this one, I compared Thor's stats and Loki's stats, if you're interested in that. And then we have, for Friday, we have Lady Sif. And she hasn't been around as long as Thor, but not too far off because she appeared in Journey into Mystery 102, which is basically just like 20 issues, about maybe 2 years, a little less than 2 years after Thor first appeared. And so she's kind of, their Thor's and Baldur's childhood companion. She grew up with them. She's considered the second best female warrior, Asgardian warrior. She had, she's had this massive crush on Thor like forever, but he doesn't reciprocate her feelings, doesn't return them. But she's not like Amara, the Enchantress, where she's super jealous and, basically, if I can't have him, no one will, sort of thing. They're, she and Thor are friends first, and she's very loyal, and she goes with him into battle countless times. She even saved Jane Foster's life partly because, of course, out of like her feelings for Thor, and part of it was because she didn't understand honestly why Thor wanted to be with this mortal who, of course at the time she didn't have any powers or anything, so she wasn't anything special. Sith didn't understand that, so she wanted to kind of merge with her, save her life, so that she could find out, okay, what is so special about her? Why does Thor, care so much about her? So she is also said to be the sister of Heimdall, which is interesting because I kind of totally forgot about that. She appeared, of course, in the Thor movies, and she was in 2 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was cool. I feel like she's the only, besides Agent Coulson, of course, she's the only character that transitioned from the big screen to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But of course, she didn't have a huge part in the movie or in the movies, but still, I think she's a really cool character. Like, I love this, this image of her too. So, and then for Saturday, Sunday, it's Vision, which is pretty fitting because of the stamp character we're going to talk about today. So, of course, most of you probably know the backstory. Sorry. Dazzler's sleeping in her tray, her plastic tray. And I wish I could swing the camera around so you could see. But she has, her paws up like this and her legs up like this, and you can see her belly. And it's just cute. If she's still like that, once I finish this video, I'll take a picture so that you guys can see. It's just, and of course it makes you want to touch her belly, and then as soon as you do, she'll bite you. Okay, at least that's what Dazzler does. I don't know about all cats, but that's what she does. So, it's a trap, basically. Okay, so anyway, Vision, he was made because Ultron wanted like family of his own. So he calls Ultron his son, or he calls Vision his son, and of course Ultron was made by Hank Pym, and then Ultron made Vision, and he used Simon Williams' brainwaves in order to make him. So, and the reason why this is fitting is because we're talking about Eric Williams today, Simon's brother, the Grim Reaper. So he appeared in Avengers 52, and Simon appeared in, of course, Avengers 9. So the story with Eric is that he didn't get enough love as a child. His parents favored Simon instead, and Simon was, given the keys to the kingdom and given the company, the family company to run. Unfortunately, though, they couldn't compete with Stark Industries, so the company went under. And they both kind of, like, Simon wanted revenge for his company, his family company going under, so he became Wonder Man. And he was told, hey, you need to come back and get this serum periodically or you're not going to make it. So that's how he got his Wonder Man, ionic energy powers. And he went up against the Avengers, but he didn't have the heart to, like, actually, destroy them. So he saved them instead at the cost of his own life. And his brother was so distraught that he became the Grim Reaper, and he has this he like has energy manipulation and projection with his it's a scythe, right? Is that what it's called? It's like a like a Grim Reaper sickle looking thing. Well, here, yeah, which it was a staff at one point, but then Ultron like bonded it to his actual arm. So, and then he also can reanimate the dead. He can communicate with the dead, communicate with spirits, like clairvoyance kind of thing. He also can, project illusions and stuff. In like pretty much every hero, he has any hero or villain, he has enhanced durability, agility, and endurance, strength, stuff like that. So what I think the most interesting about this character to me is that he pretty much like has died like 6 times, like died and been resurrected at least 6 times. Like there were 3 of the times, I think, before Simon even like came back. Or maybe I'm not correct. Anyway, so he's died like 6 times. So at first when he faced off against, I'm pretty sure that's right. Because at first when he faced off against the Avengers, he found out that Vision actually had his brother's like brainwaves, brain pattern. So he couldn't fight him, so he was defeated. And then another time because at one point he stole his brother's body and brought him back like as a zombie, but that actually did work and brought him back to life, because really he was just in a comatose state because his body was like adjusting to his new powers. So he brought him back, and at one point he had a trial to figure out, okay, is Vision actually my brother, or is Simon, this Simon, actually my brother? And then at some point he tried to kill them both. Go figure. One of the times he died, I think this, like I said, I can't keep track of exactly all the times. I just know it's been like at least 6. Just like Jean Grey, Phoenix, she's died and been resurrected multiple times, and I can't keep track of all of them. I feel like they're pretty on par in terms of the number, though, if you don't count, like, of course, the Krakoa era of resurrections and stuff. So anyway, so first time he died, he fell off a ledge being chased by his brother and Vision. And one of the times he died, he was in the raft, the prison, and he escaped and then was put back there, and then because he started his own lethal legion to go up against Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers, and he was put back in prison, and he was killed by a, a loyalist of Norman's. And then another time he died and then was resurrected by Scarlet Witch's magic, like not like on purpose. And then another time he was resurrected by Doctor Strange inadvertently, when Doctor Strange basically brought back the whole city, like, of LA. I think it was LA. So anyway, like, died and come back like 6 times. Makes sense. I mean, with the name and the fact that he himself can reanimate dead bodies. He can also talk to the dead, talk to spirits. He can, like I said, the energy projection and enhance like durability and all that stuff. And then illusion casting. There you go. That's the other thing. So, okay. Let's see. So here he is. And this said it was from Master of Kung Fu number 17, April 74. Also appeared in Man-Thing number 9, the stamp, September of 74. And this stamp is from the Avengers 102. And basically on the cover, he says division. The human body in there can be yours, Vision. Now help me kill the Avengers or I'll destroy it. So, and that art is by Rich Buckler and Joe Simnott. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but it's Sinnott. So, and then for the next one is Shanna the She-Devil, Khazar's wife, which is interesting because like I said, I don't think we've done in this stamp series. I'll have to go back and look because I can't remember exactly every one that we've done so far. I don't remember us doing Vision or Scarlet Witch or Wonder Man yet in this stamp series, and yet we did Grim Reaper. And I don't remember us doing Khazar yet because we did Cole, and we did Cole the Conqueror, and we did Conan the Barbarian, but we didn't do Khazar yet. Anyway, it's interesting who they picked, but Shanna the She-Devil was a pretty kind of fairly new character. She appeared in her self-titled, Shanna the She-Devil number 1 in like 1972. So this was, we've discovered it's like when they picked these, it was like 73, 74 when they picked the stamps. So she was a fairly new character. And this isn't, of course, not to be confused with Sheena, who appeared in 1941. And they actually made her, Shanna, like, because they called her the She-Devil, like a little bit more like bloodthirsty and, violent. And I think with that, because of her backstory, she actually grew up in Africa, and her dad accidentally killed her mom with a gun when he was trying to hunt this leopard. So she doesn't, she does not like guns, does not believe in guns, that sort of thing, which, who could blame her after going through something like that. So she went and that happened when she was 6. So she went to live with relatives in the U.S. She went to college. She achieved kind of an Olympic level of athleticism. She became a vet. She became a zoologist for the Central Park Zoo, which that'd be cool. I always thought it'd be really fun to work with animals, or become a vet or work at a zoo, but not very good with math. So that kind of shot that dream down. So anyway, I mean, I'm not very good at math and I don't like math. It's very frustrating. Like, some people just are math brained and they're like, oh, yeah, that makes total sense. Me, I'm like, I don't understand. And they try to explain it to me, and I'm like, I still don't understand. I'm trying really hard to understand, but I really honestly don't understand. So, anyway, so she came to the US, went to college, became a zoologist, and she actually bonded with this leopard. And then she found out the leopard was killed by one of the zoo guards. And so the leopard had two cubs, and the director said, why don't you take the cubs and have them be raised on the reservation in Africa? And so she took these little cubs and she started wearing the leopard's pelt in order to be the mother figure to the cubs, I guess, which it still seems weird to me, but okay. So, and I believe these are the cubs all grown up. Not positive, but I think so. So, and then she finds out that the cubs have been killed by a cult leader, and she, vows revenge. And her dad also ends up getting kidnapped by Mandrill, who, the monkey, the Mandrill, that's actually what he looks like. And her father actually later got killed by Mandrill. But in the meantime, she was kidnapped and taken to the savage land, and she escaped with the help of Kazar, which is where she met Kazar. And of course, he first appeared in Uncanny X-Men 10, and his father was an English nobleman who found the savage land, Lord Plunder, and so Kazar is technically Lord Plunder, and his mom died, and then his dad was killed by ape men in the savage land, so he was raised by Zabu, which, the saber-toothed tiger, which I love Zabu. He's so, I really wanted to get the Marvel Legends, Build-A-Figure Zabu, but I was like, oh, but I only want, technically want 2 of those figures, so I thought maybe I could find them aftermarket later, but no, they were still pretty expensive. I'm trying to cut back on my spending. It's hard though. There's so much cool comic book stuff that I just want, and I think I need, and that's why I'm trying to limit myself to only X-Men related stuff, specifically that happened in the original animated series. Because of course Kazar was in the original animated series, and so was Zabu when they were in the Savage Land. So I was like, oh, but like I said, I was like, oh, I can't really justify getting 4 extra figures just to get, Zabu. So anyway, maybe one of these days, maybe they'll release a special 3-pack where it's Zabu, Kazar, and Shanna. We'll see. Anyway, so she escaped from the savage land, went to go find her father, found that he had been killed. And then she found that the leopard cubs have been killed, so she fed the cult leader who killed them to her python. And then she kind of went back and forth between the U.S. and the Savage Land, and then eventually settled in the Savage Land and married Kazar, had a son. There were still, of course, some bumps in the road. There was one time when the demon Belasco, responsible for magic turning into, aging 7 years overnight and turning, turning into magic, basically. He thought she resembled his long lost love, and so he kidnapped her, and so they went through all that. And then there are times when, of course, Kazar was presumed dead, and just, of course, like I said, relationships are hardly ever easy in comic books. So anyway, see, where was I? Oh yeah, so she finally settled in the Savage Land, and they were instrumental in stopping the Skrulls from mining vibranium in the Savage Land during the Skrull invasion. And she was also, because she herself has died and been resurrected, and when she was resurrected, she had this deep connection to the Savage Land. She knew the languages, she knew the history of the Savage Land, and because of that connection, I think the Kuwati, the plant people that we talked about in they used her just like they used Man-Thing, like in their, in their battle, but thankfully they were able to snap Shanna out of it, just like they were able to do that for Man-Thing. So anyway, so I will post a new video tomorrow, and like I said, it was just busy holiday weekend, so I apologize for not posting these sooner and these separately, I will say, because really, I try to do them separately, so it's every 2 days, but life life happens. But I appreciate you guys for watching. I don't know, just, are there any like videos you're interested in me doing, like any comic books, any comic book characters you'd like to learn more about? I guess just let me know in the comments. I'm trying to think of, because of course I'm doing the Dazzler series, and I'm doing Uncanny X-Men when they come in, and then I'm doing these videos. I mean, that's already kind of a lot every week, or I guess X-Men is obviously not every week, but you know what I mean. So, but I'm just trying to think of something else to, I guess, get more people to broaden my audience, so to speak. So anyway, I mean, maybe if you guys wanted to see more of my collection, or if I should redo some of my videos, or if you want to check out the mansion videos that I did. I don't know. I've just not been motivated to work on my mansion, and I really should, because I still have like 8 rooms left to do. So anyway, I hope you'll join me in the future for more videos. And until then, bye.